Does that answer? Yeah.
Questions? What do you like about your team, Peter, in the first half, and what would you like to see improve going forward?
I think our team's been, as always, our structure's been good. I think we've improved our ability to score, and we struggle at times still to finish, but that's something that we've been focusing on. I think our depth has been outstanding through the forwards we've brought up, and now you see the D in there. And, generally I think the four lines have been performing. You can never have four lines at once performing at the top of their level, but I've been happy with, their level of performance. We got 30-some games left, or actually, what do we have? It's 26 games left. Mm-hmm. So there's not many games left, so you just want to think about continuing good habits, continuing structure. I've been quoted as saying I'm looking for some depth, and I'm looking for some depth defensively. Not so much offensively, but defensively I am. Having said that, our group's been pretty good depth-wise, so it's there's not much of a market right now. But if I like our personality of our team, so if we don't end up doing anything, I'm okay. But I'd like to add some depth at some point defensively.
How busy were you just this week, given the roster freeze?
There wasn't really much going on, Joe. No, that stuff's all perception.
You think that over the past several years, 3 or 4 years, there's been some sort of inconsistency in the team, and this year maybe a little bit less of that, almost a little more consistent in the performance and the effort, I think.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to get. I know you know this, Steve. Like complete, consistent performance every night. Last year we were maybe a little more variance, a little more up and down. Last year, I attribute that to the lack of practice, the compressed schedule. We've got a compressed schedule again. We're continuing to mature as a team, and I think having those 3D get some good quality time in last year and in the playoffs has helped their maturity. But I anticipate mistakes with those guys because they're young and it's a hard position to learn. But I think to your question, we're just continuing to mature, and even our veteran players are still young. Like you talk about Krejcis and Lucics and Boychucks, those guys are still young. So I think you're right. I think we're more consistent. It would be nice to be even more consistent, but I like the way that we're going.
How useful was that St. Louis game for evaluating maybe some of those D without?
Well, it was we Claude and I talked before that game about they're having teams getting the puck out quickly. So those are the Warsawskis and more Krugs and more Barts and more Hamiltons. Those are the type of D that can do that. And, at the end of the day, it'd be nice to have that component all the time in the back end because it helps us with our speed, and we're not the speediest team. You give up some in defending. So we didn't have Z, we didn't have McQuaid, we didn't have Sides. Those are 3 really good defenders. So our challenge is to find the right balance. But that was a good game. They're a heavy team. I think we've played them both times we've played them, but we haven't won. So, but I've been happy with the way we've played them both times. It's a good measuring. It's a good measuring stick game. So it's nice to say we have a measuring stick game instead of us being the measuring stick all the time.
Peter, from what you've seen of this defense core, there's been several times where you guys have had to go without a couple of your veterans and things like that. Does it help you define the sort of defensive depth that you want to look for? How high you have to go?
Well, there's really not that many players available, so beggars can't be choosers really at this point. With each passing game, I see our D, and I see them maturing, I see them making less mistakes. It makes it a little easier on me, but I always feel that we need eight good NHL defensemen going into the playoffs. And, I'm certainly not going to replace Seidenberg. He's too good, and those players aren't available. You'd like to think that there's a player with a little bit of sides is defending end that we can find and help us. But this year's been a story about our depth, and I've been happy with it.
So ideally, a top 4 guy who comes in here.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
like Bart's been in that top 4 and he's been playing well. So I mean, it's a bit of supply and demand. So I don't really like the names that I'm thinking about and talking about. Maybe 2 or 3 of them can play in the top 4, and the rest of them you maybe shuttle in and out, and they play down a little bit.
You had to go into the Rangers series last season with Bart in the top 4. Would you be comfortable if you?
Yeah, I
played
would
in
be.
the
Yeah,
playoffs?
yeah. He's learning. He's learning better how to defend, and he's getting a little more minutes, and he's still making mistakes, but the rest of them are too. But I've been looking closely at his defending. He can wheel the puck out well and turn the net well, but he's maturing as a defender, and that's what we're looking for, better defenders.
Peter, after the break with a compressed schedule, like you mentioned, how important is it to manage Tuukka, and what did you learn from, watching how he handled himself last year in that schedule?
It's been important all year to manage Tuukka, and Chad's helped us with that, the way he's been playing. So it will continue to be important. Obviously, he may carry the mail over there for Finland, so it might be even more important. But he's played a lot of games before in his past. He's not a thick or heavy guy that you can, a little more durability comes from that, but he knows how to play all those games, and he also knows that when you play 55, 60 games that you're not going to be great all the time. I think you can see that in his demeanor after he finishes storming off the ice. So that'll be continuing to be a challenge for us, but I think we're doing okay with it.
You've had good games now against the Blues, against the Blackhawks, against the Kings. Do you feel that as this team is currently constituted, that it can hang with some of the better teams?
They call us a heavy team, and we are a heavy team. I think we're over 500 against the Pacific Coast teams. So I mean, I like us against them. We've played well against St. Louis. We're playing the right way now. Our power play's been better. Our PK's dropped a bit, but we had a kind of a blip earlier on that probably put us down there. But we've got that component now in the power play that can move the puck. So we're more well-rounded and a little bit more mature. So that doesn't guarantee anything, but that's what I see.
Lucic and Krejci have maybe been